There goes a record. What? I went from lieutenant to war criminal in less than a week.
The gears of war have been turning steadily for a number of years now, grinding thousands upon thousands of meaty soldiers to mulch. Seriously. In an apocalyptic conflict between men and monster men, where combatants wield machine guns with built-in chainsaws. People Can Fly joins Epic Games in creating the carnage in this prequel, changing the game in a few notable ways. But despite logistical changes and a new approach to telling their war story, it's surprising how much Gears still feels like Gears.
Come get me!
The judgment referred to in the title references a military trial where Lieutenant Baird and the members of Kilo Squad stand accused of treason. As the soldiers give their testimony, you'll play through flashbacks describing the events from each soldier's point of view, eventually catching up to your current situation in the courtroom. It's a clever way to frame the straightforward story, and it figures into the game's very slight twist.
The accused are denied any right to an attorney and may not question the authority of this tribunal.
There are essentially two versions of the events. There's the official version, smoothed over and redacted by command, presumably for the purposes of nailing your insubordinate ass. And then there's the true story, what really happened as told by Kilo Squad. It's a unique take, but the question posed by the glowing declassify marker offers isn't quite as interesting as the concept. Do you want to play a boring vanilla version of the game, or would you like to make things more interesting?
You don't seem like a man who takes orders. Why even follow Baird?
Declassifying these missions means facing tougher enemies, coping with limited visibility, or trying to do your best with specific weapons. There's nothing stopping you from going for every declassified objective your first time through, and taking on the challenge helps you earn more stars for your performance, which accumulate to unlock bonus features within the game.
We'll be there with some backup too.
Since the normal version of the story equates to, it went down just like it did in every other Gears game, it never feels like you're sticking it to the man or refuting a lie. Leaving things classified just feels like a cop-out, simply selecting a lower difficulty level if you don't have a 4-player group and have to rely on the AI.
Hey, that's enough!
Computer-controlled squaddies are essentially competent, but like Gears 3, you'll have the distinct feeling that the campaign is meant to be played with other human beings. This message is reinforced with numerous siege scenarios that ask you to set up a perimeter and deploy turrets and traps to fend off enemy waves, which is the closest thing to Gears' famous Horde mode that you'll find in Judgment. Past that, the war effort is gory, glorious business as usual. You'll run and slam into cover with a satisfying sense of weight, shred ugly, bulky enemies in a great hail of bullets, and pick up powerful, limited-use weapons to turn the tide against overwhelming odds.
Does this look kind of like a toy?
The small things that define the series, such as the brilliant microgame for quickly reloading your weapon and brutal executions, also help maintain the unique Gears flavor. Baird's story comes up short in terms of memorable moments and truly unique gameplay, but it's fairly replayable thanks to online co-op, multiple difficulty levels, and some dynamic variation in what kind of enemies spawn at what time. It should take at least a good 6 or 8 hours to polish off this solid main course before you get into the bonus Aftermath campaign, a sort of reunion for Judgment's cast years later during the events of Gears 3, and the one worthwhile item you can unlock by earning stars. That is, unless you're really into hideous-looking character and weapon skins.
That sidearm can go back where you found it.
In multiplayer, Judgment puts the overrun game type front and center. In this asymmetric mode, monstrous locusts attempt to overrun human lines of defense. Soldiers switch roles freely, perhaps taking an engineer role to drop turrets and repair barriers, while the beast side escalates in power as they do damage, moving from suicide bombing ticker to bigger, stronger creatures. It's an extremely fast game type where you'll need to quickly adapt, and is great fun if you can accept that careless play from a few players can easily sink your entire team. The rest of the competitive package is business as usual for Gears, for the most part. Mercifully, you don't need to grind experience points or currency to unlock more powerful weapons, you just select your favorite basic weapon type and start killing. Judgment seems to want it both ways, so you still level up, just for no interesting purpose. Judgment is swifter than other Gears games in terms of lethality. You can no longer execute downed opponents or take hostages in standard match types. They're either dead or alive. This makes free-for-all matches possible, which replaces the wingman game type, but it hardly redefines the way the game plays. Shotguns and headshots continue to dominate, although it can be fun to play around with other options. There's enough breadth to the experience that you'll find plenty of killing to be done here, even if the Horde mode that Gears pioneered has morphed into something else entirely. But despite the differences, it's funny how little things have changed.
Then come with me.
Gears of War Judgment tells the story of a squad that refuses to do things by the book. But while it risks a certain amount of backlash from fans that balk at its minor changes, this soldier is content to operate within established parameters and focus on doing its job, one 20-minute or so mission at a time. It's solid, it's capable, it fits with the identity of the series. In short, it's Gears.
See this and other GT shows and game reviews on the GT Originals iOS app, available now on the App Store.